If you're in human resources, hiring new people might be an issue. And this might be because people will send you their resume, their CVs, their cover letters, but it takes time for you to go through, see whether you want to proceed to the next stage, to maybe send them a test that they want or that they might want to do in order for you to see whether to pass to the next stage. So there are a bunch of different stages that take a lot of time to organize. With this system that I'm going to be showing you how to build in today's video, you'll be able to save a lot of that time. So if I manage to remove this out of the way, which I just managed to do, this is what the system will look like. In this case, I'm integrating with Google Sheets, but this can be anything you want, whether it's Airtable or any other type of database that you might be using. So the candidate or the process starts when the candidate or the potential candidate fills in a Typeform form where we ask the person for their name, their last name, their phone number, email. We give them a way to insert a URL for their resume and cover letter, and any new entries are entered into this section of the Google Sheet. Then we have a few options to consider. We can send them a test, we can invite them for an interview, we can send them an email if they are accepted, or we can decline at any stage. This is what it looks like. So let's say that I have this scenario here, and if I turn this on, let's say that I go here and I say, okay, in this case, let's, decline this person, right? Because the person was invited for an interview, but after the interview, things didn't go well. So in that case, the person would immediately receive an email, which is something along these lines. So thank you for the time. We've decided to go with someone else at this stage. Thank you for your time. So it's using the first name of the person, and it's acting accordingly. But let's say that we were to send an accepted email. So in that case, if I go back to my Gmail and give this a second, I'm trying to run this again. Okay, that came true. So now I've gotten the "you've been accepted" email. So, hey Kevin, you've been chosen for the job. Please follow this link to complete onboarding. And obviously you can customize this and send whatever you want to send to the person. The point is that here we're getting the information. We're deciding whether you've chosen the, the send test, the invite for interview, the accepted or the declined, and then we're moving accordingly. So if it's the send test, we're going down this path. If it's invite for interview, down this path, and so on and so forth. So this is what we're going to be building in this video. So getting right into it, the first thing we need to do is obviously go to Typeform and create a new form. So once you sign up for Typeform, I'm using this because it really integrates well with Make.com. So you just sign up, and once you're there, you get to build this form. So let me just organize my stuff here. So you can start from scratch, you can import questions, or you can even create with AI. In my case, I generally start from scratch, and then you have a bunch of templates that you can use anyway. So you can use contact information, and then you can also hide specific things. So if you don't want company, just hit that icon and that disappears. And then you can add more stuff along the way. So you can add a website. For example, if you want them to insert a link to a Google Doc, you can also have an upload as part of the premium stuff. So you can get someone to drag and drop their files there. So it's totally up to you how you want to create your forms. Once that is ready, the next thing you need to do is actually publish the form. And that would look something like this. So let's say that we have someone called John Smith. Let's put a phone number and let's put an email. Is it okay? Can link to a resume. So in this case, let's put bing.com, and the same thing with the cover letter, and hit submit. So this says, thank you for completing this Typeform. Now create your own. It's free and beautiful. So here, what we need to do now is start building the stuff that is going to be listening for when a form is submitted. So if we go to Make.com, which is the no-code automation platform that we use, you can also get started with this for free. So check out the link in the description for that. And once you're in here, you can go to scenarios and you start building. So the first thing you're going to do is watch responses. So here you're going to choose, or you're going to make a connection. You're going to choose how many forms you want to grab. And then you're going to choose the form ID. So in my case, it would be the latest form that I created. You can hit OK. And then you can choose from when to start grabbing information. So in this case, let's see if I do that, if that will grab the right information. Probably it didn't. So let's choose where to start. And let's try this with something I submitted yesterday, just to double check it's also the right form, which it might not be. Let's go to that connection. Actually, I think it's this form, but maybe I'm looking at the wrong form. One thing to do, it's a good idea to do, is to give them a better name than my new form. So let's say this was metadata, answers. Yep, that's the one I'm looking for. So now I can grab the responses. So in Typeform, there is list responses, which allows us to not just have to keep watching each time, but we can just grab the responses that were entered. So I need to choose the form ID, which I believe was, let me double check, the first one up top. We're going to say it was completed. And let's see if that grabs the right data. So let's run this once. And now obviously it didn't work because it already had that. So let's do from specific date. Let's try this again. Hit OK. So my new form. So let's try this and do it properly. So let's call this 14th November YouTube test. Hit save, hit publish. So this is premium, I need to remove it. So delete features and are good. Okay. Open link. Okay. So let's go back here now and let's ensure we're in the wrong form or we're in the right form. So for the November test, hit OK. Here, let's choose the right form ID as well. So that's great. And now, if I go ahead and fill this in, I should be able to get the right data. So John Smith, let's put something here to I don't know if that would work, but let's see. Then an email. Hit OK. Let's go for something that I know would work. Okay, bing.com and hit submit. So now if I go back to make and hit run once, this should pull the data. Let's choose all. So that should pull the data just inserted. So the answers, John Smith, and that's the phone number I just inserted. What we want to do next, go to Google Sheets, and let me just open a new Google Sheets. And we're going to create the document we had before. So just for the sake of time, I just copied the headers, and we want to map the HR information right here. First name, last name, phone number, email, resume link, cover letter link, etc. If we go back to make, we're going to add a row, and we need some information. So first of all, we need to reference the document, which is called HR information. So you can just search for that, choose the sheet name. It does have headers, and we want to insert the stuff from our Typeform, including the name of the person, which should be under answers, or no, it should be here, mappable answers. So that's the name. As you can see, there is John here. And if we were to get this more in view, there's John here, then there's the last name, which would be Smith. There's the phone number, there's the email, there's the resume, which should be bing.com right here. And I think that was it, because everything else I didn't include. So I didn't include the cover letter link. So let me just delete this. So now, if I were to just unlink this and start from here and run that, that should just populate the first record. If I were to do that again, it would create the same record underneath it. So let me just run that again, and that's created the same record right there. What didn't pass here was the resume link. So let's see why that didn't happen. So this should be under answers, URL. Probably it should be this bing.com under mappable answers. Let's test this again. Save, run. Yep. So that should be the one. Okay. What I want to do is also duplicate this a few times. And I also want that in each of these boxes, I have a checkbox. So let's just do that. So essentially, even if I were to delete these and format this properly, go back here and run it again, we want that to do the same thing for these 4 boxes. Let's delete that. Now, that is the first scenario. So it would get the information from Typeform or watch the responses, which you can run every X number of minutes or hours. We list the responses and then we add the information to Google Sheets. We would also get a notification that we have a new record to review. Next, we want to have another scenario, which is listening when something happens in Google Sheets. So we can create a custom webhook here. Add that, save, copy, OK. I'm going to go to extensions, make for Google Sheets. If you don't have this, you need to add it just by going to add-ons and get add-ons. So you just search for make for Google Sheets, and you do that once, and then it's set for life. All you need to do is paste in the webhook URL there and hit save. So now essentially, once this saves, which tends to take a few seconds, each time something changes in your Google Sheet, you get some information. So I made one change there, and in a second, I will get information about that change. It's telling me that it happened in row 6, sorry, in column 6, row 2. So column 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and row is 2. So I know that if column 6 is F and row 2 is 2, so into F or F2, something changed. And I also know that the value is now true. So based on that information, I can route the whole process. So let's have a flow control, and now I want to have a router, because I want to have a router for each of these options. I have a send test, invite for interview, accepted, and declined. So this is going to be called send test, and this will happen only when the column is going to be equal to send test, which is F. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if column start, it's important to choose numeric operator, is equal to 6, this is the route it will go down. But we also need to add another condition, because we don't want to send an email if someone unticks a box, right? So if there was a send test and by mistake you untick that, you don't want to send another send test email. So instead, we only want to proceed if this checkbox is actually enabled. And for that to happen, we need to add another rule. So it's end. And here we just say that the value is equal to true. And now we're going to do pretty much something similar for the next few ones. So invite for interview. let's add a filter here. Let's give it a name, invite for interview. So this, the column start will be number 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the value is equal to true. You're going to change to numeric, equal to. And let's do the same for everything else. Accepted. So this should be 8. Numeric. And the value is true. So that's accepted. And the last one is number 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is declined. So the condition is column start is 9 and the value is true. Okay? And now all that remains is that we need to choose what happens when we land on this route. So let's say that in this case, send the test. What we want to do is draft an email that says you've been chosen. And we're going to say, hey, you can use the nickname, or we can also pull the specific information about the person's name, which we'll do in a second. You've been chosen to conduct, I don't know what test. Here's the link to start. Okay. What's important here is that we add a line break, because if not, it will all be one big chunk of text. Instead of X, here I want to grab the name of the person. And we know that the name of the person is always in the row that was triggered in column number 1. So what I want to do here, before entering the router, is add a module, Google Sheets, where we're going to I think it's search a row. No, you can also get a cell. So let's go with that. And we're going to do, first of all, to choose the spreadsheet ID or the spreadsheet name, which in our case is called HR information. And we need to choose the sheet name and then enter the cell number, letter plus number. So in this case, we know that the range or that the row is 2. And that is enough for us because we know that it's always in column A. So if we go back here, it's always A plus the column or plus the row start. So this should be A2, for example. So let's test this. If the row is 2, the output is John, which is what we have right here, A2. So that's great. So now, instead of X, we can say hey and put the value there. We can also clone this now. So here, instead of you've been chosen, you can also say you've been chosen for an interview. You've been chosen to interview. Here's the link to, I know, book a time. You can clone this. And this is when someone is accepted for the job. You've been accepted for the job. Here's the link for onboarding. And then there's the some reason this isn't letting me close. Okay. And then we have the declined, which we can also clone. I don't know, obviously don't say better luck next time, but you get my point. You haven't been selected. Okay, so now for to test this, you can align the stuff, save, run once. We'll go back to our sheet and let's choose declined. In my inbox, if I go to drafts, I get this email. Better luck next time. Hey John, you haven't been selected. Kevin. Obviously here you would enter the email of the person. So what we could do here is just add the recipient and add the email of that person. Actually, yes, this is pulling the wrong data. So this is pulling, okay, my actual email from Google Sheets. So what we will need to do is do something similar to this. So we also know that the email lies in column D. So if we were to go here and clone this and insert it there, we could change this and say this is D. So this is email, and this would be first name. And then, if we were to refresh this, we can insert the right value. So here, we would have to the email. And then we would do the same for all of these. So add the recipient, add the email there, and choose OK. So now, let's just test this. I'll run it once. If I choose send test, or let's do invite for an interview. So we try, the second one. So invite for an interview. If I go back here, you will see that this will go down the right path. So it got the webhook, it grabbed the name and the email, and then it went down the path invite for interview. Which also means that if I go to my email inbox and my drafts, I got this email, or I got the email drafted. You've been chosen for an interview. The email is good, so it's the one that is entered here. And there's information. Hey, John, you've been chosen to interview, so the name is correct. Here's the link to start. So that's pretty much the whole system. There's a lot you can do to make it better in terms of what happens when someone is sent a test, when someone is invited for an interview, accepted or declined. But essentially, this is the whole system. You have a sheet where each time someone enters in or fills in a form, they get added to it, and then you decide how you want to proceed. Whether you want to send them a test, invite for an interview, accept them, or anything else in the process. I hope you found this video useful in terms of building this HR system. If you want to learn more about AI and automation, check out the link in the description, where I can help you with your business to create systems that are similar to this. And in the meantime, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. I'll speak to you soon.